What's happening, guys? Cody here with Edge Pro. We got a couple of special things in store for you today. First thing, Travis the Jiu Jitsu Guy sent in his Benchmade Griptilian. Dear Cody, I would like to thank you for selecting my knife from the YouTube comments section for knife models to demonstrate being sharpened. This Benchmade Griptilian holds a great deal of sentimental value. It is my absolute everyday carry knife that sees the most use in activities such as timber management, bushcrafting, hunting, fishing, cooking, general use, and as an emergency cutout knife in climbing arboriculture. Upon putting the knife on the Edge Pro Apex, I noticed some bevel inconsistencies and an angle change from the belly to the tip of the blade. Due to these problems, I have never fully sharpened this knife and have relegated its sharpening to sending it to Benchmade. I look forward to this edge fix and am happy that I may help others with the same issue. I enjoy using the Edge Pro for producing such great edges and would like to say thank you for a great product and service. Well, Travis, what you have found with the inconsistencies in the bevel is not limited to just your knife. We actually see this on brand new knives all the time. Angles all over the place on a knife that just came from the factory. The good news is you can correct all that using your Edge Pro, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. Alright guys, let's take a close look at this knife before we get started. It looks like he has made an attempt to sharpen this on his Edge Pro. That definitely looks like a higher finish than what you'd see from the factory. I am seeing some deeper scratches from the original factory bevel. The edge feels pretty good. Definitely some room for improvement at the tip, but pretty good here in the belly. CPM 20CV. So let's take a look on the chart and see about where that rates in relation to everything else. We're getting up there in the hardness scale, so I think this will be a great candidate to show you guys what the matrix stones can do. There's something really special about these two here. This was the very first 2300 grit prototype diamond resin bond matrix stone. We were trying to get a feel for how long these stones were going to last. We etched on the back of this 5/16. So that was May 2016. It is now January of 2019, and we are still using the same stone. We also etched the thicknesses of the stones at the time. It started out at 255 thousandths. In June of 2018, it was down to 250 thousandths. So we only wore 5 thousandths of that stone down over the course of 2 years. So we're at about 248 thousandths now. I'm grabbing it a little further down the stone. So over the course of 2.5 years, we only have 7 thousandths of wear. I understand that these stones are a bit more expensive than the standard stones, and they're definitely a lot more expensive than a simple pack of polishing tapes, but when you take into account how long they last and the convenience of using them, they definitely have something to offer there. I actually resurfaced this right before we started shooting this video because I wanted to make sure that these stones were performing top notch for you, Travis the Jiu Jitsu Guy. Well, let's get it on, Travis! It's higher than that. I'm resting on the flat of this knife right now. This flat section. It looks like I still need to go a little bit higher. I'm going to reapply that. I'm set at about 20 degrees. You know, I'm not seeing any terrible inconsistencies in this. I mean, maybe some slight inconsistencies, but nothing drastic. That I did put some packing tape on this knife to protect it. I was talking to Rob Bigsby recently, the Apostle, and he told me that he's now using packing tape. He says that it's a little bit more durable. I think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to remove it. You have a respectable amount of flat and you have a pretty good face as well. That face is probably still bigger than the flat, but we'll see what happens when I start to apply a little bit of pressure to the stone, and that's going to help me determine which surface I'm going to rest on. But right now, resting on the flat, set at 20 degrees, it seems to be pretty darn close. I feel pretty confident that I can sharpen this whole blade at that angle setting. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's turn the knife over and check the other side. Alright, Travis, I see what you're talking about. The stone is cutting clear out to the edge here in the belly of the knife. But then as you reach the tip, you're behind the edge. Pretty common thing. So why is this happening? So this is happening because the knife was sharpened at a slightly higher angle at the tip of the knife when it was sharpened at the factory. I believe the reason that they do this is so that the bevel will be a consistent width along the full length of the blade. So they have to increase the sharpening angle at the tip of the knife because the tip of the knife is moving into a thicker part of the blade. I would normally be positioning the knife right here, but by removing the thumb stud, I can now shift the tip of the knife to this position, which is going to give me a couple of degrees angle gain and reduce that wide bevel at the tip. So there's really not a whole heck of a lot of metal removal required at the belly, but I am going to focus a little bit of extra effort at the tip. In order to get away with resting on the flat of this knife without causing me any problems, I am having to be a little bit careful not to add too much pressure to the stone, which is something you're supposed to do when you're using the diamond matrix stones anyways. You're supposed to use a little less pressure. See, if I start pushing too hard, I'll start to rock, but if I just go nice and light, then I'm not having any rocking issues. Alright, so after just about 4 or 5 passes on each side of the blade with the 250 grit matrix stone, I have a burr along the full length of the blade, and I don't see any drastic widening of the bevel at the tip of the blade. Alright, we're moving on to the legendary original 2300 grit prototyped stone. So David Scott is a guy who has done a lot of machining work for us, and he is the guy who spearheaded all of the research and development behind these diamond matrix stones and builds the stones for us. And so he has done a lot of work looking underneath the microscope at the different edges, doing different results tests. And according to David, when we get to the 2300 and 4000 grit stone, he says that you do get a little bit better edge if you use only pull strokes. Now you'll have to forgive me because I wasn't using just pull strokes with the 2300. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal as long as I use just pull strokes with the 4000. To be honest, sometimes I forget that. You still get amazing results, but to get the best results possible, David says, and he says he can prove it with the microscope, that you're going to get a little bit better results by using just pull strokes. So I'm going to lift the stone on the push stroke. Alright guys, here's the finished product. I still need to put the thumb stud back in. So my honest opinion is that the polished tapes probably leave a little higher polish, a more scratch-free finish than the matrix stones. But the matrix stones are much easier to use and a lot more durable. Alright, and there she is with the thumb stud all put back together. Some people find that disgusting, but it's definitely shaving. Alright Travis, so that maybe wasn't the most impressive paper slicing test. It was still pretty darn good though. It's definitely shaving hair beautifully. Overall, I was actually able to improve this knife more than I thought I was going to be able to. And so, Travis the Jiu Jitsu Guy, I hope you're really happy with it. I'm really glad I didn't screw anything up. I definitely didn't want you to put me in an armbar over this. Give me a call, let me know what you think of it. If anybody has any questions, or if you're interested in getting into sharpening, check out our website at edgeproinc.com and feel free to give me a call anytime. Make sure you guys subscribe. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.